Yeah, okay, so let's start today's session. Okay, please wait 1 minute. Okay, so today's topic is the function in Java. So first, I will share my screen. Okay, so in Java, function or method is a block of code that performs a specific task. Okay, like you can call a function multiple times without retrieving the same code. Okay, a method is a block of code which you only runs when it called. You can pass data no as parameter into a method. Methods are shown to perform certain actions, and they are also known as an functions. Why use methods to reuse the code, define the code once and use it in many times. Okay, so first create a method. Sorry. Okay, so let's say we want to calculate the sum of two numbers. Okay, we can create a function to do it to that. Okay. Okay, so first create a method public static int make two parameters num1 and num2. Int a equal to return num1 plus num2. Okay, so this is our function. It has two parameters num1 and num2, and the function returns the sum of num1 and num2. Okay. Now create the main method. Okay, so now we call the function. Pass the parameters. Sorry, I made a mistake. But now what the not find main method in class, but this is our main method. Yeah. Now we get the accurate value. Sum. Okay, so first we declare the function public static int num1 and num2, and then okay, so the public this allows the function to be accessed by any other class. Okay, and static means that this allows the functions to be called directly from the class without needing an object. Okay, and this is the int. This is a return type of the function integer. Okay, it's a return 30, so it's integer type. Okay, and the num1 and num2 and the num1 and the num2, there are the parameters which are the inputs to the function. Okay, and this is the function body. This defines what the function does. It adds the two numbers and returns the result. Okay, and here the function call calculate some a and b, calls the function and pass the value of a and b. Okay, so store the value 10 plus 20 in the result, and now we print the result. Now we change the value 100 and 200. Then we compile the code. Sorry. Yeah, we get 300. Okay, 100 plus 200, we get the 300. Okay, so a function is many types like this. Okay, so this is the function and the void is the return type. Means when a function have any return type that void, it means it cannot return any value. Okay, say hi, collect. Sorry, print ln. Okay. Mm, like I call it three times. Say hi. That prints three times. Say hi. Okay. So that means rewrite the code. Okay. Why use methods to reuse code? Define the code once and use it many times. Okay. Here we define the code once and reuse it many times. Okay. So the next is the function overloading. Okay. Function overloading occurs when you have multiple functions with the same name but different parameters, type or numbers of parameters in Java. This allows you to reuse the same function name for different operations. Okay, so first we make a parameters where name is sum, and it's take two parameters int num and num2. Now we create another function. Okay, now we create the two functions where the name same. Okay, so now we create a main method. That's the error. Okay, now we have only one errors. In previous compile we have two errors. Now we have only one error. The system out. Yeah, That's there. Okay, we compiled successfully. Okay. There is the sum of two numbers, 10 plus 20 equal to 30. And there is the sum of three numbers, 10 plus 20 plus 30 equal to 16. Okay, equal to 16. So function overloading sum of sum in num1 and num2 and sum num1, 2 and 3 have the same name but different in the number of parameters. Okay, it have two parameters and it have three parameters. So function calls, then the program calls sum 10, 20 for two numbers and the sum 10, 20 and 13 for three numbers, and both return different results based on the parameter. Okay, so now the next is the recursion. Okay, the next example of function is like recursion. Recursion is a process in which a function call itself. It is useful for solving problem that require repeating tasks such as calculating factorials on Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so like our program scenario is like, let's say we want to calculate the factorial of numbers. The factorial of numbers n is defined as like make a class first. Okay, so let's say we want to calculate the factorial of a numbers, and the factorial of a numbers n in define as like n not equal to n multiply n minus n minus 1 and again multiply n minus 2 and again multiply. So that's the series is continuing. Okay, again and again. Okay, so first make a function. Function to find the factorial of a numbers. Okay, so first we create a method. If n equal to 0, return 1, else return n multiply fraction n minus 1. Okay, so this is the recursive call. And now enroll in the main function. Find a number is a 5. Okay, let's call the function. Int result factorial number. Okay, let's execute the program. Let's compile the program for detecting the error. We get the 5 errors. Okay, so first error is this. Save, execute it again. Okay, so all errors are the 5 errors are solved because not the 5 errors is only the 1 error. Yeah. Okay, so the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, so in this the logic, the function stops calling itself when n equal to 0 and returns 1. Okay, the function stop calling itself when the n equal to 0 and return 1. This is critical to avoid infinite recursion. Okay, so recursive case, if n not equal to 0, okay, if n not equal to 0, the function multiplies n with the factorial of n minus 1. Okay, if n not equal to 0, the function multiplies n with the factorial of n minus 1. This creates a recursive chain. O function calls unit it reach the base case. Okay, and here the factorial 5 function is called, which internally calls factorial 4, factorial 3, and so on. Okay, like we find the factorial of 3. Okay, factorial 3 is 6. The factorial of 3 is 6, and the factorial of 4 is, yeah, factorial 4 is 24. Okay, so the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, so 120. factorial of 3 is 6. 24. Okay, so in this example, this is the name of the method. Okay, and the static is like static means that the method belongs to the main class and not an object of the main class. Okay, you will learn more about this. Okay, and the void means that his method does not have a return value. You have learned more about it. Okay, there is some examples of the method overloading. Like here, same name but different parameters. First is the my method, which is integer type. Second is the my method is float type, and the third is the my method is the with the double type. Okay, and it returns a integer value, it returns floating value, and it returns double value. They're called the function overloading. Okay, that's the method overloading or function overloading are similar. Okay. It's also called the function and also called the methods. With method overloading, multiple methods can have the same name with the different parameters. And parameters and argue information can be passed to methods as a parameter. Parameter act as a variable inside the method. Parameters are specified after the method name inside the parentheses. You can add as many parameters as you want. Just separate them with a comma. Okay, the following example is a string. Okay, and there is a Java recursion. Recursion is the technique of the making a function call itself. The technique provides a way to break compli- complicated problems down into a small problems which are easier to solve. Recursion may be a bit difficult to understand. The best way to figure out that is another example of the recursion. Okay, so The next topic is the okay. So today I will introduce you to the Java servlets. Servlets in Java. Okay, today we all are aware of the need to create dynamic web pages. Example, the one that can change the site contents according to the time and can generate the content according to the request received from the client. If you like coding in Java, then you will be happy to know that using Java are also exist a way to generate dynamic web pages and that why the Java servlet. But before we move forward with our topic, let's first understand the need of the server side extension. Okay, so s- servlets are a fundamental part of Java technologies. They are Java programs that run on a web server and handle client request like usually from a web server, web browser, and generate dynamic content in response. Servlets are the like backbone of Java-based web applications and from the foundation of many modern frameworks like Spring MVC and Java server faces like JSP. Okay, so the question is what is Java servlet? Servlets are the Java programs that run on the Java enables web server or application server. They are used to handle the request, opt-in from the web server, process the request, produce the response, and then send a response back to the web server. Like a servlet in is a Java class that extend the capabilities of servers, usually web servers, to handle clients' request and generate dynamic response. Okay, servlets a part of the Java EE. E means Enterprise Edition platform. Okay, so the purpose of Java servlets are used to create dynamic web contents. Unlike static HTML pages, servlets can generate content based on user input and database queries or other business logics. Okay, so properties of Java servlet is the properties of Java servlet as follows. Servlets works on the server side. Servlets are capable of handling complex requests opt-in from the web server. Okay, so Java servlets architecture is a web browser. The client user response first request HTTP send the HTTP request. to the web server. The web server finds the data from the database and return the data from to the HTTP response to the web browser. Okay, so some key features of servlets is like a platform independence. Okay, it runs on any server that supports Java and efficient and scalable. The servlets is efficient and scalable, and it can handle multiple types of request like a get request, post request, put delete, etc. Okay, there are the API request like get, post, put, and delete. Integrates well with other Java technologies like JDBC, JSP, EJBS. Okay. Execution of Java servlets is like six basic steps. The client send the request to the web server here. The first, the client send the request. Okay, the web server receive the request, and the web server passes the request to the corresponding servlets. Okay, the web server passing the request to the corresponding servlets. Then the servlet process the request and generate the response in the form of output. Okay, the servlet generate the request and the servlet send the response back to the web server. It send the response to back the web server, and the web server send the response back to the display on it. It send the HTTP response client. Okay, like how do servlets work is like the client, for example, the web browser, send an HTTP request to the server. For example, when a user submit a form or clicks a link, okay, the web server receive the request. The web server means like Apache Tomcat server and any other server. The web server receive forwards it to the appropriate server. Then then the servlets process the request, like the servlet process the then the like servlet process the request by reading data from the request. For the example, like for form data, query parameters. Okay, perform business logics. Like example, querying a database, calling other services, and some generating a response like HTML, JSON, etc. Okay, servlets sends the response. The servlets sends the response back to the client through the web server. Okay, and the client means browser receives the response and display it to the user. Okay, so means the need of serverlets server side extension is means the server side extension are nothing but the technologies that are used to create dynamic web pages, actually to provide the facilities of dynamic web pages. Web pages need a container or web servers to meet this requirement. Independent means like a web server provides offers some opportunity solutions in form of APIs. Okay, the APIs allows to us building programs that can run with the web servers. In this case, the Java Servlets is also one of the component APIs of Java Platform Enterprises Edition, like Java EE, okay, which sets standards for creating dynamic web applications in Java. Before learning about something, it's important to know the need of the something. It's not like that it is the only technology available for creating dynamic web pages. The servlets technology is similar to other web servers extensions such as common gateway interfaces, scripts, hypertext processor like PHP preprocessor. Okay. However, Java servlets are more acceptable since they solve the limitation of CGI, such as low performance and low degree scalability. Okay, so the Java X dot servlets dot servlet interface is the core interface that all servlets must implement. It defines the lifecycle method of servlets, like the int called when the servlets is initialized, like service handles client's request, and the destroy method is called when the servlets is being shut down. So some advantage of Java servlets like servlets is faster than CGI. So first of all, we learn about the CGI. CGI is actually an external application that is what is written by using any of the programming language like C or C++. And this is responsible for processing client request and generating dynamic content. Okay, in CGI application, when a client make a request to access dynamic web pages, the web server performance and the following operation. It first locates the request web pages. The required CGI applications are using URL. It then creates a new process to service the client's request, invokes the CGI application within the process and pass the request information to the application, collects the response from the CGI application and destroy the process, prepares the HTTP response and sends it to the client. So in CGI, server has to create and destroy a process of every result. It's easy to understand that the approach is applicable for the handling few clients, but as the number of clients increases, the workload on the server increases. And so the time is taken process request increases. Okay. So that's the disadvantage of the GUI. Okay, um, the client, but as the number of client increases, the number of clients increase, the workload on the server is increase, and so the time taken is process request increase. Okay, so there are few different servlets are portable and efficient. Okay, CGI is not portable. In servlets, sharing data is possible. In CGI, sharing data is not possible. Servlets can directly communicate with the web server, but the CGI cannot directly communicate with the web server. The CGI needs to the third-party APIs to communicate with the web servers, but the servlets can directly communicate with the web server. Servlets are less expensive than CGI. The CGI is more expensive than servlets. Servlets can handle the cookies, but the CGI cannot handle the cookies or session or any other memory cache. Okay, so servlets API are built for two packages, so Java X.servlets and Java X.servlets.http. Okay, so there is the packages for the Java servlets, and there is the types like interfaces and classes. Okay, there is the components of the servlets like filtering, generating servlets, response, request, HTTP GET, post. Okay, etc. Servlets is faster than the CGI as it does not involve the creation of a few process of every new request received. The servlets as written in Java are platform independent. Okay, the it's removes the overhead of creation and new process for each request. As servlets does not run in a separate process. There are only a single instance that handles all requests concurrently. This will save the memory and allows servlets to easily manage the client state. It is a server-side component, so servlets inherits the security provided by the web server. And the API designed for Java servlets automatically acquires to advantage of the Java platforms such as platform independent and portability. In addition, it's obviously can use the wide range of APIs created on Java platforms such as JDBC, okay, access to the database. Many web services that can suitable for personal use or low traffic websites are offered for free or at extremely cheap cost. For the example, Java servlets. However, the majority of commercial grade web servers are rather expensive with the not sorry not expensive expensive with the notable exceptions of Apache, which is free. Okay, so some advantage of servlets is like performance. Servlets are faster than GUI. common gateway interface because they run within the same process as the web server. And the next is the platform independent. Okay, servlets are written in Java, so they can run on any platform that supports Java. And the next is the scalability. Servlets can handle multiple requests simultaneously, making them highly scalable. And the next is the like integration with Java ecosystem. Servlets can easily integrate with other Java technologies like JDBC, JSP, EJBS. Okay, and the next and last advantage is the security. Okay, so servlets benefits from Java built-in security features such as exception handling and garbage collection. Okay, the servlet containers, also known as servlet engine, is a integrated set of objects that provide a runtime environment for Java servlet components. In simple words, it is a system that manages Java servlets components on top of the web server to the handle web client request service provided by the servlets container. Network services loaded a servlets class. The loading may be from a local file system, a remote file system, or other network services. The servlets container provides the network service over which the request and response are sent. We decode and encode MIME based on message. Okay, provided the service of decoding and encoding based on message. Manage servlets container. Manage the life cycle of a servlets resource management. The static and dynamic resource such as HTML files, servlets, and JSP pages. Security service handles authorization and authentication resource services. So servlets is also handle the authorization and authentication services using identity. And the servlets also manage the session, maintain the session by pairing a session ID to the URL path. So the servlets handle the authentication, authorization, identity, JWT, and the session and cookies also. Okay. So when you need to the question next question is the when we use servlets. Okay. When you need to build a dynamic web application, then you use the servlets. When you want to find graded control over request handling and response generation. Okay. When you need to integrate with other Java technologies like JDBC, JSP, and EJBS. When performance and scalability are creation. So servlets are a core component of Java. Okay, Java web technologies and provided a powerful way to build a dynamic, scalable, and efficient web applications. Java servlets are critical components of defining business logic and handling complex web requests. The components of prompt the dynamic deployment of websites and has a lot of potential to change the application dynamic. Here are some of the key features we learned in the article. Okay, like Java servlets aids in the development of server-side application deployment and provide a way to deal with dynamic contents to build robust and interactive websites. As soon as the request reaches the web server, a servlet's instance is initialized using init method. The HTTP request, depending on its type, can be handled by do get or do post methods. Do get means HTTP get and do post means HTTP post request. So servlets make our web applications more responsive and efficient as it does not create and destroy a process every time a request is reached. Okay, so servlets are a core component of Java web technologies and provide a powerful way to build dynamic, scalable, and efficient web applications. They form the fundamentals of many modern frameworks and are essential for any Java web developers to understand. By mastering servlets, you can gain a deeper understanding of how web applications work and build more robust and efficient systems. Okay, so there is the some basic questions for the Java servlets, mm, which is asked in the interviews. Okay. Like what is the life cycle of the Java servlets? Java servlets has a predefined life cycle starting from initializer until the object is distract and it takes a place in following steps like init. Its call as soon as the request is received by the web server and a new servlet instance is initialized. Okay, and it's the service the handle clients request the redirect the request to an appropriate do get or do post, and there is the destroy. This called when the request is handled response sent back to the client and finally the memory allocated to the servlets is deallocated. And now the how to configure a Java servlets. Configuration of Java servlets is defined inside a deployment descriptor file like web.xml. Although it is a legacy now, most servlets-based applications nowadays used annotations based configuration to configure a Java servlet using web servlet annotations. What is? servlet filter. So servlet filter is an additional component of performing pre-post processing work on the web request like logging, monitoring, debugging, or troubleshooting. Okay, so in today's session, we some learn and explore about the some servlets and functions. Okay, so revise them once. Revise what we learned today. First, we in knowing about the some functions in Java. Okay, so first in the our first program, we create a functions. We create a function to calculating two numbers. Okay, and call them the value of this is 300 because 100 plus 200, then we call the calculate sum method and passing the argument, so the we get our output is 300, and this is the simply message which has type void, so it means it does not have return any value. So it's print the three time, hey, I am a Java developer. Print three time because we call the say hi method three times. Okay. Then we learn about the function overloading, function overloading. Okay. In the function overloading, we have the s- more than one function. They have the same name but different parameters. But they have different parameters. So in the current example, we make a function which is the which name is the sum, and it's take two parameters int num and int num2, and it returns the sum of two numbers. And now again we make a function, again the same name of our first function sum, but in the second function we have three parameters. Okay, and it returns the sum of the three parameters like num1, num2, and num3. And in our main method, we call the both functions. Like first we call the our first methods and to pass the two values in the parameter. In the third, in the our second method, we pass the three values in our parameters like 10, 20, and 30. Okay, it return the 30 and it return the 16. Okay, so there is the function overloading or a method overloading. Okay, and in the last, this is the our last function to find the factorial of any number. Okay, using the factorial function, we find the factorial of any number like the 4 is the factorial of 4 is 24. The factorial of 3 is 6. The factorial of 5 is I think 125. Okay, so Vidhi and Neha, today's session is end. So we meet in the next session. Okay, so bye bye for the today's session.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, yeah, bye.